Ladies and gentlemen, this is Juggling Taxi World News and Variety Show. Danny Mann was on the Travel Channel, America Cut on Camera. You can drop the screen, sir. Hey, how are you, sir? How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Good. What is your name?
My name is Ken.
Ken, where are you from?
I'm from Blaine, Minnesota.
Blaine, Minnesota. Ken, tell me, there's a taxi driver in Minneapolis. Did he drive in Minneapolis or Minnesota?
He drove it all over Minneapolis.
Minneapolis? And what is his name?
His name is Dave Hill, a.k.a. Dr. Rock and Roll.
Dr. Rock and Roll. And tell me, you talk so passionate about him. I said, I got to get this on interview. Tell me more about Dave.
He was quite a character. The guy was a genius that published a couple of magazines, was in the big business world for many years, and just got tired of the rat race and decided he wanted to try something different. So he got into driving cabs, and that was his passion.
Now, what did he do before he drove a taxi?
He was a publisher of two mainstream magazines.
And so this man was very well educated.
Oh yeah, certified genius.
A genius. So he could have been a doctor, a lawyer, anything he wanted.
The man could have done anything he wanted.
And he decided to be a taxi driver.
His passion was driving taxis and putting on a rock and roll show.
And tell me about his rock and roll show, about a certain CD purchase.
The man had more albums than probably anybody.
He had a collection, you mean?
Huge collection.
Huge collection.
It filled rooms in his house. And
really?
He had a record that the Rolling Stones put out. On their first recording contract, they tried to get out of the contract. They still had one album left to do, and the record producer wouldn't let them out of the contract, so they fulfilled their contract. They produced their final album, and one side of that album, the entire side of the album was a song titled Stevie Nicks, Sit on My Face. Well, at the time, that record producer was married to Stevie Nicks.
Right.
And it got produced, and they started shipping it out. When he found out what the song was, he recalled all the albums.
He recalled all the albums.
They ended up with 4 of those albums actually got out to people, and Dave Hill, Dr. Rock and Roll, happened to have one of them.
And what did he sell it for?
And that man sold that album for enough money to buy a house.
Wow. How much do you think it was?
It was about $80,000.
$80,000. Wow. And back then, you could buy a house for $80,000.
Oh yeah, back then, no problem. He was an interesting guy, and unfortunately, rest in peace, he passed away a couple years ago.
And I heard a lot of people performers went to his.
There were probably more musicians in local Minnesota musicians that showed up at his funeral than at any other funeral ever.
You name any of the musicians, singers?
I don't know a lot of them.
No, a lot. You didn't know them. You know his buddies. No.
I've met a bunch of them over the years, but I didn't hang out with them. I'm not a rock and roller, so.
Let me just take a picture of your wife right here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hi, sweetie. How are you? Hope you didn't mind. This is Juggling Taxi World News. We're in Vegas, baby. We're dropping off the Mirage. Vegas, baby.